Well, with temperatures soaring, many of us are spending our spare time in the nearest body of water. But whether that be the beach or another local watering hole, authorities and experts are reminding us to stay safe this summer. Andrew Woods is a lecturer in nursing at Southern Cross University and he joins me now. Andrew, thanks so much for your time.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Can you just take us through what are some of the biggest dangers in and around our waterways this time of year? Of course, they do vary around the country, but what are some of the biggest risks?
Yeah, well, the National Coastal Safety Report put out by the Surf Lifesaving Society of Australia surveyed public perceptions, and the public aren't too far off the mark. Some of their most perceived risks were seen as rips, tropical stingers, and sun exposure. So they are three of the most common risks. But then there's also perceptions of crocodiles, sharks, rock platforms, big waves. And when you actually do some reading and find out a little bit more about where you're going, there's actually a lot more common risks that you're more likely to encounter at a beach or at a water spot.
If you're heading to the beach, you just mentioned it there, rips can be a big one. How do you spot a rip and what is it about them that makes them so dangerous?
Yeah, well, the Surf Lifesaving Society would do a lot of education around this. But out of 150 drowning deaths last year, half of them were at Australian beaches and 31% were rip-related. So rips occur usually in the back beaches where there's a lot more water movement, where water's going back out to the ocean. They can be spotted where the waves will often die down, and you may see clear water going a bit more cloudy, and if you observe, you'll see water moving out. So the Surf Lifesaving in Australia had a campaign recently that was Think Line, and that's stop, look and plan before you go in the water. And that's what a lot of people who commonly go to the beach do. Surfers always go down before they jump in the water. They check the conditions and they look for those different things. Where's it going to be easier to paddle out? It's something that swimmers need to look for as well, to know where those rips are and try to avoid them.
Andrew, do you think people in Australia have a strong enough understanding of the dangers that are posed by the ocean or creeks and rivers, or do you think it's easy for us to become pretty complacent in a country like Australia?
I think it's definitely easy for us to become complacent. You do hear about these things. You hear the sound bites, you see them in the media, the tragic cases of people drowning. People are drawn to the more bigger sort of dramatic events such as shark bites and shark interactions. But when it comes to the common things, just some basic, first aid training and having a first aid kit can make a big difference. So I think people have awareness, but the data shows that we're not actually doing too much about it, or as not as much as we should. For example, the Australian Cancer Council reported in the previous week 1.5 million people in Australia were sunburned. And Australia Institute of Health and Welfare data says that 1 in 3 Australians will develop skin cancer by the age of 70. So this is an area where there's been lots of campaigns about it. People are aware of skin cancer and damage that can occur, and maybe using sunscreen, but the message still isn't obviously getting out, or people aren't actually acting on what they know.